In this video, I'll give an update on the build progress for my 1:350 scale RN Roma. I will show you how I go about masking and painting, and I'll show you how much of the superstructure still needs to be painted. The video in the background is of me masking 3 parts for the port side. This is over an hour of work that's been condensed into roughly 4 minutes in a time lapse. The masking in the port side is around 2/3 complete, and I've yet to start on the starboard side. For masking, I use Tamiya masking tape. I found that it gives a good clean edge and it doesn't leave a residue when you remove it. I have quite a variety of widths of masking tape: 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 and 18 millimeters. It just makes it easier for finding the right kind of tape to mask in a given situation. You don't necessarily need such a wide variety of widths. You can always just cut out your own little pieces, but then that makes things take considerably longer. And I think it's just worth paying a little bit and buying a variety of widths of masking tape just to make the process a little bit less tedious. For large areas, I use normal hardware store masking tape. There, the key is to just not press down hard so that it doesn't really stick and leave a residue. And there, it's always just to fill in the bit that has been outlined with the Tamiya masking tape to get the clean edges, just so that it's covering, so that it doesn't, the overspray doesn't hit parts where I don't want it. As for painting, I typically follow the painting guide. If there are things that look a bit suspect to me, I will go online and try and do a little bit of research. But in general, the way I go about painting all the ships is I take the painting guide and I scan it into the computer, and then I enlarge it so that it's 1-to-1 with the actual model, and then I stick clear box tape over the image of the ship on the enlarged painting guide so that I have a smooth surface on which I can stick masking tape and trace it out for more complicated shapes. I would also place it there, and especially with the hull where there aren't that many features to locate the positions of tape. So I'd put the tape on there and I'd draw lines on it, which would help me locate it with the top of the hull and the waterline and things like that, so I can roughly get the tape when I place it on the ship in the right place at the right angle. For the superstructure, especially on this model where it's mostly straight lines, I'm using the painting guide to get an idea of the actual size of tape that I should be using so I can cut out the appropriate piece. And then I'm using the painting guide just to find features on the model to help me locate where I should place the tape on the actual plastic kit. And you'll see there's a lot of pauses where I'm holding a piece of tape to the model, and what I'm doing is I'm just moving my eye line down such that it is 90 degrees horizontally and vertically to the location where I'm putting the tape, to try and align it as close as possible. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a piece of 1mm tape and I'll use that to create a line from already painted location of the camouflage, and then try and do a 90-degree line off to where I'm going to place this new piece so that I can get things to line correctly. This is a lot of backwards and forwards. It's a very iterative process. So I'll place now, I'll get it what I think is good. I'll put on the first round of paint to at least get what should look like a fairly accurate representation of the camouflage. And then as things go on, I will probably come back and add more or remask things or adjust things slightly to get things to line up better if there are issues. There are also some areas where paint has been missed and I'll go back and fill it in. Sometimes it's just easier to paint in multiple rounds of masking instead of trying to get it perfect all from the first time. And of course, all of these parts are only being painted on the port side, and I'm going to have to go back and do it again for the starboard side. So there really is still a long way to go. So I've been working on this for weeks now. The port side is mostly complete. I just need to do the bridge, at least for these pieces. once that's done, I still have to do all the 152 and 90mm turrets on the port side, and of course everything on the starboard side, superstructure wise, still needs to be painted. So it's still a very long way to go. And as you can see, here are the parts that still need to be painted, and yeah, they're just a lot to get through, and they're fiddly and small, and all the different angles make it quite difficult to get the good clean lines. Anyways, that's it for this video. Bye.